Did the United States spend tens of billions of dollars building one of the most advanced air defense systems in history, only to face a weapon it was never designed to stop? Because right now, in the skies over the Middle East, a new kind of missile is forcing military planners to ask exactly that question. Iran's hypersonic Fattah missile has suddenly become one of the most talked about weapons in modern warfare. And the system it is being compared against is the famous American Patriot missile defense network. The Patriot system is not some experimental technology. It is one of the most widely deployed air defense systems on Earth. Over 4 decades, the United States has invested tens of billions of dollars refining it, upgrading it, and deploying it across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia to protect allies and military bases. Its latest interceptor, the PAC-3, is designed to slam directly into incoming missiles at extreme speed, destroying them with kinetic force rather than explosives. Against traditional threats, the system has proven extremely capable. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and aircraft can all be detected by Patriot radar systems and intercepted before they reach their targets. The basic principle is surprisingly simple. Radar tracks the incoming object, calculates where it will be seconds later, and launches an interceptor to meet it at that precise point in space. That math works remarkably well when the incoming missile follows a predictable trajectory. But the new generation of weapons being developed around the world were built specifically to break that equation. To understand why this matters, we need to talk about the missile now sitting at the center of this debate, Iran's Fattah hypersonic missile. Unveiled in 2023 by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the missile was presented as a technological leap forward for Iran's growing missile arsenal. According to Iranian claims, the Fattah can travel at speeds between Mach 13 and Mach 15 and strike targets more than 1,400 kilometers away. At those speeds, the missile moves more than 10 times faster than the speed of sound. But speed alone is not what makes hypersonic weapons so dangerous. Traditional ballistic missiles follow a large, predictable arc. They launch upward, exit the atmosphere, and then fall back toward Earth along a path that can be calculated with high accuracy. Modern defense systems like Patriot were built around that predictability. Once the radar identifies the trajectory, computers can calculate the intercept point and guide the defensive missile directly toward it. Hypersonic weapons change that dynamic. Instead of following a smooth arc, some advanced missiles are designed to maneuver during flight. They can shift direction, glide through the upper atmosphere, and adjust their path as they approach their target. That unpredictability dramatically reduces the time available for defense systems to calculate an interception. By the time a defensive radar predicts where the missile will be, the missile may already have changed course. Iran says the Fattah missile was designed specifically to exploit this weakness. The missile reportedly uses a maneuverable re-entry vehicle that allows it to adjust its flight path in the final phase of its descent, making interception significantly more difficult. However, it is important to note that many analysts remain skeptical about the full capabilities Iran claims. Some experts argue that the missile may not meet the strict definition of a true hypersonic glide vehicle and instead functions more like a maneuverable ballistic missile. Even so, the broader strategic question remains. What happens when offensive missile technology begins evolving faster than defensive systems designed to stop it? That question is not theoretical anymore. Across the Middle East, missile defenses have already been tested repeatedly in real combat scenarios. Iran possesses one of the largest missile arsenals in the region, with thousands of ballistic missiles capable of striking targets across the Middle East. And every time missiles are launched, air defense networks must attempt to intercept them in real time. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they do not. Which leads to the uncomfortable question that defense planners in Washington, Tel Aviv, and several Gulf capitals are now quietly debating. If hypersonic weapons continue improving faster than missile defenses designed to stop it, are we witnessing the beginning of a new era in warfare? One where the missile once again moves faster than the shield designed to stop it? But the real question is not whether hypersonic missiles exist. The real question is what happens when they meet the world's most widely deployed missile defense systems in actual combat conditions. because the debate about Iran's hypersonic capabilities is no longer happening only in laboratories or defense conferences. It is unfolding in real time across one of the most heavily defended regions on Earth. Over the past several years, the Middle East has effectively become a testing ground for modern missile defense. Israel, the United States, and several regional allies operate layered defense networks designed to intercept everything from short-range rockets to long-range ballistic missiles. Systems like Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow, and Patriot form overlapping shields intended to stop incoming threats before they reach cities or military bases.
On paper, this network is among the most advanced ever assembled. But real conflict has a way of exposing the limits of even the best technology. One of the most significant examples occurred in October 2024, when Iran launched one of the largest missile barrages ever directed toward Israel. Reports indicated that roughly 180 ballistic missiles were fired during the attack. Multiple layers of defense were activated simultaneously. Israeli systems attempted interceptions, while American naval destroyers in the region also launched interceptors to assist. Many missiles were successfully destroyed before reaching their targets, but not all of them. Satellite imagery and open-source intelligence later suggested that several missiles struck military sites despite the extensive defensive network. Both sides offered different interpretations of the damage, but the basic reality was clear. Even the most sophisticated missile defense architecture in the region could not guarantee a perfect shield. That is the fundamental problem missile defense engineers have always faced. Interception is a race between the defender and the attacker. The defender must detect the incoming threat, track it, calculate its trajectory, and launch an interceptor in a matter of seconds. Every step of that process must work flawlessly. The attacker only needs one missile to get through. Hypersonic weapons make that race even more difficult. Their speed reduces the reaction window dramatically. Their maneuverability complicates radar prediction models, and their unpredictable flight paths create uncertainty for intercept systems designed around predictable trajectories. For systems like Patriot, which rely on calculating future positions to guide interceptors, that unpredictability creates a serious challenge. It does not mean the system suddenly becomes useless. Patriot remains highly effective against many traditional threats, including aircraft, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles within certain engagement parameters. But hypersonic weapons represent a different category entirely, and the United States military knows it. In recent years, the Pentagon has begun accelerating research programs specifically designed to counter hypersonic threats. New interceptor concepts, including the Glide Phase Interceptor program, aim to track and destroy maneuvering hypersonic weapons earlier in their flight path. Directed energy weapons, including laser systems, are also being developed as potential future defenses. Unlike traditional interceptors, lasers could theoretically engage targets at the speed of light and at a much lower cost per shot. But those technologies are still developing. They are not widely deployed today, which means the balance between offense and defense may be shifting once again. And that shift carries enormous strategic implications. Missile defense has long been a cornerstone of deterrence. The idea is simple. If incoming missiles can be intercepted, the incentive to launch them decreases. But if offensive weapons begin consistently penetrating defensive shields, that balance changes. Suddenly, missile arsenals regain strategic leverage. For countries like Iran, that possibility is significant. Tehran has spent decades building one of the largest missile programs in the Middle East precisely because missiles allow it to project power without relying on a traditional air force. Hypersonic technology, whether fully mature or still evolving, represents the next stage of that strategy. And that is why military planners around the world are watching these developments so closely. Because the question is no longer just about Iran and Israel. The real question is whether modern missile defense systems can keep pace with a new generation of weapons designed specifically to defeat them. And if they cannot, the balance between missile and shield may be entering a completely new chapter in modern warfare.